Hello, everyone, and yes, I am back again. I keep on saying I'm back, but I'm gonna be like, "Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Spring." No, that's too cringy for me. But, anyways, here's my review on probably the long-awaited review on the NECA Part 7 Jason from Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. So, here he is right now in all of his glory. Now, let's go over the box before we move on to the figure itself. Starting off here, we have the poster of the movie. On Friday the 13th, Jason is back, but this time someone is waiting. Side, which is actually a movie shot. Is like a shot from the movie, not movie shot, okay, whatever. But regardless, it is a shot from the movie itself with Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, along with the other side. Same goes for the top. Bottom, just the UPC code. Take his picture if you want to buy it, and that figure is going to fall. And at the back, we have the sort of monologue of the movie explaining about this movie and product shots of the figure. And inside, this is where the figure would be. I don't know what the background is. I can't tell. And just the main promotional art. That was I'll admit, that was a big deal at the time when I saw it. I was like freaking out as seven hells. So anyways, let's get on with the review and talk about this figure, shall we? This is let's just go over the facts before I move on to anything. Then I may already spoil the fun, but you know what? Let's just build it up instead. So, start with paint in the sculpt. Or paint in the sculpt, not paint in the sculpt. The paint in the sculpt on this figure is absolutely insane. For a newer mold, considering that I only seen maybe 2 times or something where we had new molds for Jason, having something like a new mold to represent Kane Hodder is awesome. Starting off with a head, obviously you get that nice weathered detail. Look at that. You get to see that nice jaw right there and the cracked hockey mask. No chevrons. There's some damage besides just the axe mark. There's some damage onto the side where the boat propeller was, and some scratches on the other side. We take off the mask, and that is the ugliest man I've ever seen, with the ugliest teeth and pretty good paint overall. For what it looks, although I feel like for me, the open face head is better, I still will keep it like this. That means he could keep on his mask. But still, nicely painted and sculpted, and it really shows the detail and the scars Jason has had in the movies. And of course, there is a chain here. This is sort of like a fake chain a little bit. But looking at the body, I mean, man, look at this. This is all a whole plastic layer. This is a whole layer of plastic surrounded by this amazing paint job, these rips and tears, and of course the obvious spine. But look at that. It just looks so nicely done, and I'm surprised that, with a figure like this, it improves a lot on the previous figure. For example, the arms. Now, the original NECA figure, which I will show you right now. Yes, that original NECA figure only had gloved hands, not these bone-like hands that look like a zombie. And that was pretty cool and all, but it was pretty inaccurate for the time. Most of the shots I've seen of Jason, as far as I could recall, never show Jason with gloves. But even then, you could still see the wear and tear down his arms. I think the only time it kind of stops is where it's in the double jointed elbow, but not as much. And of course, look at those hands. They're full of just scratch. This is just full of bone. And it looks awesome. But look at that. You can even see his rib cage too on the figure as well. Moving on to the thighs, and these are also a new piece as well. The whole figure's a new piece. With ball jointed legs. But look at that. It's nicely just weathered and burned. It looks pretty messed up. And I'd say the only downside is probably the feet. Not that it's inaccurate, it is, but sometimes it makes it kind of harder for him to stand. But as of now, he stands pretty well, as you could clearly see. But look at that. He has those nice shoes. You could see his knees, and you could see how just destroyed his knees are. You could see there's bone showing. And just look at the back. But his ass is completely fine. And that's kind of funny. Not gonna lie, the more I think about that. But yeah, it looks like there's just damage, and it looks awesome. Now, let's move on to this figure's articulation. So, for starters, let's start off with the articulation. It sort of took, since this is a newer mold, and most of the Jason molds have been pretty outdated, like, they only have single-jointed elbows and whatnot, this figure has probably taken some notes from newer NECA figures, and probably more specifically, it took notes from the NECA Halloween 2018 Michael Myers. It probably took notes from this guy. So, let's get on to it. Starter's head is on a ball joint, dumbbell joint, I guess, because he could look up this far, not without the mask, and look down this far. Unfortunately, it's limited because of the chain. I could remove it, but I'm not going to. I don't want to. Arms are, for some reason, on mine, really tight, so be warned. Again, hair dry the figure, put hot water on it, and it also spreads. I think the main issue with this figure is the fact that the plastic could really get in the way in terms of articulation and style, like articulation a little bit. And it also kind of worries me, how long will this probably last? But as you saw, besides the diaphragm joint, as you saw, no bicep swivel, but there is a double jointed elbow with a wrist swivel hinge system alongside a swivel diaphragm joint. Maybe even a waist swivel here that I don't want to use. But look at that. You could sort of bend his waist down, but it's not that bad. Legs can kick up this far, back this far, and a beautiful spread. And of course, he has those new ball-jointed hips that have him swivel like this. And I probably lost an accessory for one Michael here. Never mind. Sorry, I just had to check on those figures for size comparison. But of course, double jointed knee, which if you want to put it back to normal, I suggest you push on this and then do that. And then moving to his feet, you hinge down, it hinges down, hinges a little bit up, and pivots, but kind of gets limited by this. Now, I know posability is pretty good. It's a big upgrade from the previous Jasons, especially with those double jointed elbows. I know it's very tight, but I can assure you it's really good. Now let's move on to, before we move on to size comparison, let's move on to accessories. As far as accessories go, let's start off with, before we move on to the insane amount of weapons, move on to the accessories for himself. He has two gripping hands that, of course, besides the open hands, he has two gripping hands, no fist hands, of course, which is fine. You could just grip in, put it in, and there you go. He also has an interchangeable head that allows him to look like he's screaming, alongside a shattered mask to look like Tina, the main character of the movie, broke it with her telekinetic powers. And it's a cool mask, don't get me wrong, but there's a little bit of paint chipping on the chevron right up there, as you could see. I'll show in the photo gallery, but without the mask, already that looks so much better, because I remember this Jason being probably the most expressive out of all the Jasons in any of the movies. All right, now let's move on to the size comparison as I try to put this guy back together. Well, actually, before we move on to that, just realized all this stuff. Yeah, this guy comes with a lot. And this is arguably another huge strength of the figure. Yes, there's no other accessories for himself, but that could all make up for how much stuff he comes with. He has a weed whacker. He has a tree trimmer, an axe, a 10 stake, a machete, a knife, a sickle. You know what? Let's give him the 10 stake. And for the record, let's also give him the regular mask. I don't know why I did that, but okay. But look at that. That looks nice. Nicely done. And in the photo gallery, I'll show how just awesome this figure looks with all these accessories. Alright, now let's move on to this figure's size comparison. Size comparison. This figure stands roughly 7, maybe 7/5 or something. But he is more than 7 inches. Saying that. Alright, now, this will take me a while to set it up, so I'll be right back. Record, I didn't want to compare all of these guys together, which I don't think anyone would have liked me to do that, but I will do it because I felt like it was really cool and, of course, for you guys. So, here is part 7 with literally every Jason figure I own, including the 2 McFarlane ones that are also played by Kane Hodder himself, the Jason Goes to Hell Movie Maniacs figure, and the Jason X Movie Maniacs figure. And I'll admit, I probably still have to do a re-ranking of the NECA Friday the 13th figures, and I probably will do that, but like maybe like next year. I know it's like a long time since like 2021, but there's like possible well, I'm gonna do this, but a possible, I don't know, a possible chance there could be a new Friday movie coming out. I don't know what it will, I don't know, but it looks like it could be a new Friday movie. And when that happens, I will post a ranking on all of these guys on Friday the 13th. And it will probably be really awesome. And maybe I'll probably change some things too. And of course, same rules apply. I'm not including the NES nor these McFarlane figures. But still, I actually really like this comparison. Of course, it's a little weird because, you know, they're on a stand. One of them is on a base. 3 of them are on bases while the rest are not. And, oh, wait, I forgot what I missed. I am missing part 3. Now, part 3 is in my shelf right now, but considering I don't want to grab him, you know what? Screw that. I'll grab him. Be right back. And not only did I just forget part 3, but I also forgot Roy and Dream Sequence. So, yeah, that is the full collection of Friday the 13th figures I have. That is a lot, not gonna lie. Now, I won't be getting NES because, like, I don't care about the NES version, and it's just pretty pricey, so for now, this is, like, the complete collection with some additional add-ons like the McFarlane figures. Alright, let's move along these figures to the side and just actually do the size comparison with the other figures. A little also comparison, and there's just here, sorry. Another comparison is, here he is with Freddy Krueger, Chucky, and Michael Myers. This is awesome. I know Michael's head is slanted a little bit, but I can assure he was taller. Freddy obviously is smaller, and this is awesome. This is awesome just having some of these 90s or 80s horror slashers. Of course, we forgot. Let's get the rest of the other 2. They're down there. Finally, I know I have a Frankenstein figure, but that's another story. But anyways, here is the NECA Part 7 Jason with 2 characters he played and is going to play, but in a video game. Leatherface and Victor Crowley. Of course, this is the retro Victor Crowley, not like the actual ultimate Victor Crowley. I do want to see that as a figure, though. But it's awesome, not gonna lie, and arguably, in my opinion, out of the 2 retros I have, that and Ghostface, I prefer Victor Crowley more. And of course, there's Leatherface, which, if you know by now, Kane Hodder is doing the mocap for Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, which is also being made by Gun Entertainment, which is also by Gun Entertainment, by the dudes who made, like, the Friday the 13th game. I don't know if those are the dudes who made the Predator Hunting Grounds game. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyways, here they are. Now let's move on to the final thoughts on the figure. Overall, final thoughts on this figure. This is arguably the best Jason on the market so far. Now, unfortunately, this figure, just like NECA, the NECA version of Halloween Kills Myers, Part 7 Jason's actually a lot harder to find. Probably even more harder to find than this guy. So, you may need a little bit of patience trying to find him for a decent price. Especially how this is like a figure that literally everyone has been wanting since like 2005? 2005? Yeah, that's how long it's been. So, and we finally got it, and it looks awesome. And of course, there's nothing, I mean, the only thing wrong is like maybe the articulation, some of the limitations, but arguably, I know this is a figure from 2021, and if I had to do a re-ranking, of 2021, this figure would be better than the NECA 2018 Myers, but so far, NECA Part 7, the best Jason on the market, and if I had to basically, again, buy a Jason figure, or Friday the 13th figure, just buy this Jason. If you could find one for a good price, 100% buy him. He has a lot of stuff, a lot of detail, a lot of accessories, good articulation, and an amazing sculpt and paint job that really justifies how awesome this figure is and how NECA could do a good job with their horror license. So anyways, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Photo gallery will come soon. So, see you guys next time. Bye-bye.